I remember the chill against my skin when I stepped off the bus. Months away, 8 months of dust, fuel, and the kind of silence that comes when you're too worn out to talk. Work had taken me overseas, long contracts in far places, where days blurred and weeks vanished. We spoke when we could, video calls if the signal worked, short texts if it didn't. She always said she missed me, always ended with, "Come back safe." The day I returned, I didn't tell her. I wanted it to be a surprise. Pictured stepping inside, seeing her eyes light up, feeling her arms wrap around me again. I imagined the scent of her shampoo, the familiar clutter on the counter, the way her voice softened when she used my nickname. When I walked in, the house didn't smell like home. Smelled new, strange, like fresh paint and a candle I'd never seen. The living room looked cleaner than usual, almost staged. And when she came down the hall, she didn't just look surprised, she froze. "Mark," she said, one hand on the frame, the other resting low on her stomach. I dropped my bag. "Hey, surprise." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You're back early." That's when I noticed not just her posture, but the curve, small yet undeniable. My wife was pregnant. Laughed at first, a stunned kind of laugh. Stepping closer. She nodded. Slowly, carefully. "Yes, I was going to tell you." I didn't count right away. Hope came before suspicion. I hugged her, and she stiffened for a second before relaxing. When I asked, she said, "For months." Looking past me. "For months. But I'd been gone for 8. The numbers were harsh. They added themselves without permission, cutting through my haze of jet lag and longing. My arms slackened. "4 months." Her eyes snapped to mine. "It's yours, Mark. I swear it's yours." Must have counted wrong. Her words tumbled too quickly, the way they did when she felt cornered. I wanted to believe. God, I wanted to. But the part of me that had counted my absence like prison bars felt a deep crack begin. At night we sat at the kitchen table, the one we'd shared countless dinners at, and argued in circles. She swore she'd never betray me, said she miscalculated. Listened, nodded, searched for a slip. But she was too steady. I told myself to let the truth surface. Held that hope for 3 days. At the doctor's visit, she urged me to come. The nurse mentioned the due date. Didn't just miss my last night home, it missed it by. When I confronted her outside, she didn't cry. She grew angry. "You don't trust me," she said, arms folded over her stomach. "I want to," I told her. "But I need the truth." That's when I brought up DNA test. She agreed too quickly, like it would silence me. But deep inside I knew it wouldn't. I knew the moment those results came, my life would split into before and after. The envelope came thin, a single folded page. My hand shook as I opened it, partly from the cold, partly from the dread of knowing the answer, but praying I was wrong. Probability of paternity 0%. I stared until the words blurred. 0. Not 99, not even 50. 0. She was in the living room. When I walked in, blanket over her shoulders, the TV flickering. She must have read my face because her eyes dropped before I spoke. "It's not mine," I said quietly. Her lips parted, no words, just a shaky breath. "Who?" My voice was calm, emptier than I expected. She shook her head. "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." After a long silence, she whispered his name. Man. From her office, someone I'd barely met. At a Christmas party. Loud, harmless, or so I'd thought. She spoke then about loneliness, about needing someone while I was gone, about panic when she found out She swore it was a mistake, said she. Still loved me, wanted to repair it. Listened, but her voice felt distant, muted like I was underwater. Kept seeing the nurse mention the due date, and her hand instinctively moving to her belly. When she stopped, I said the only truth I knew. We can't come back from this. Her face crumpled, and for a moment I saw the woman I'd loved. One who waited up no matter how late, the one who knew all my favorite songs. The distance now wasn't miles or months. It was trust, and trust doesn't return. Once burned to ash. That night I packed bag. She didn't stop me. She didn't. Sand. As I shut the door, I realized the hardest part wasn't losing her. It was losing the version of myself who once believed her without doubt. I stayed in a cheap motel that first week. Thin walls, neighbors' TVs, a groaning ice machine. The room smelled faintly of smoke despite the non-smoking sign. I didn't care. Wasn't there for comfort. I was there because I couldn't face the house or, worse, her inside it. First I left my phone silent, letting her calls pile up. 32 in total. The voicemails shifted, pleading, then angry, then desperate. I didn't listen to most. Couldn't. On the fourth night I called my brother. I hadn't told him yet. He answered quickly, his voice light until he heard mine. I told him everything, from the surprise at the door to the envelope in my hand. He stayed quiet. When I finished, he said, "You're not going back, are you?" "No," I said. The word was heavy but sure. After we hung up, I made lists. What to cancel, what to move, what to sell. The marriage was over. I had to dismantle the life around it. Lawyer friend of his met me for coffee. She was blunt. With the DNA results, you're free of any legal duty for the child, but she may still seek support, depending on your income. That night I drove past the house. The light in the living room was on. Through the curtains, I saw her sitting there, staring into nothing. I didn't stop. Kept driving. Her figure in that yellow glow faded in my mirror. Weeks passed. Papers signed. The process was cold, mechanical. Names on forms, signatures on lines. No more long talks at the table. No more pleading. Only silence broken by legal necessity. The last time I saw her was in a courthouse hall. She looked smaller. Her shoulders bent in a way I'd never seen. She opened her mouth like she wanted to speak, but the clerk called my name and I walked on. Outside, the air felt sharper, clearer. For the first time in months, I realized I wasn't holding my breath anymore.